Veyra Entangleflux. Veyra Entangleflux moved through the chrome-plated haze of her apothecary, a fixed point in the city's mad, swirling quantum jazz. Her hands, steady as a surgeon's, measured out tachyon dust and collapsed probability waves for the city's desperate souls seeking a fix for tomorrow's regrets. This was her world, her rhythm. The clink of vials, the low hum of contained realities. But beneath the cool expertise, a ghost flickered. For all her power to see the threads of fate, she was blind to her own. A deep, hidden fear that she was just a product of the very chaos she sold, that her own soul was an entanglement she could never resolve. The message arrived, not on a screen, but as a shiver in the local space-time, a resonance only she could feel. It coalesced into a single, impossibly smooth obsidian card. The script, written in coherent light, was an invitation, not to a place, but to a state of being. The cartel sees your work, it whispered directly into her mind. The true work, the potential that simmers beneath your mundane transactions. A seat awaits. The Quantum Apothecary Cartel requests your presence. It was signed with a symbol that made the air taste of ozone and old secret. Veyra stared at the card, her shop suddenly feeling like a gilded cage. The cartel was myth, rumor, the secret hand that tuned the universe. To join was power beyond measure. But what of Ilara, her apprentice with the two hopeful eyes, who relied on her? What of the fragile timelines of her clients she'd sworn to protect? The old fear whispered louder now. If she stepped into that grand cosmic game, would she lose the last shred of the woman she'd been before the equations defined her? The weight of known risks pressed against the terrifying allure of the unknown. With a breath that felt like her first, Veyra touched the card. The shock dissolved, not into nothingness, but into everything. A nexus of shimmering, interconnected possibilities. Figures robed in light and shadow regarded her. Here, the rules were written in collapsing wave functions and non-local connections. A man named Kael, with a voice like grating stone, laid out her first test to procure a relic from a timeline moments from its end. Success was a currency. Failure was unraveling. She took the assignment, her heart a wild drum in the silent, ruleless void. She was brilliant. She danced through dying worlds, her calculations flawless, her concoctions bending reality to the cartel's will. Praise came from the shadowy figures. Resources flowed to her. She crafted miracles in miniature, feeling a power she'd only dreamed of. But with each victory, a piece of her old world dimmed. Ilara's messages went unanswered. The faces of her clients blurred. The cost was a quiet, creeping frost. A numbness she mistook for focus. The price paid in the warmth of her own fading humanity. The revelation came from Kael himself, his smile a cold cut in the nebulous light. "Your efficiency is remarkable," he said, reviewing her work. "A perfect instrument. It makes one wonder, did you ever question your own origin?" He pushed a data slate across the ethereal table. It was her own genetic and quantum signature, a perfect match to a batch of customized operatives grown by the cartel a generation ago. Her entire life, her ordinary world, her very mind, all were a cartel design. The hidden flaw wasn't a flaw at all. It was her fundamental programming. She wasn't a woman who feared she was a product. She was a product who had mistakenly believed she was a woman. The numb horror gave way to a furious, screaming clarity. She was their instrument, but instruments can choose their target. The cartel's next assignment was the systematic culling of her old sector, a recalibration that would erase Ilara and everyone she'd ever known. Standing at the convergence node, her hands on the controls meant to unwind reality, Veyra didn't fight her design, she embraced it. She used her perfect, programmed mind not to obey, but to calculate the 1 in a trillion paradox that would overload the system, to burn out her own circuitry in a defiant act of will, protecting the world she was made to destroy. The aftermath was a strange, quiet hum. She was free, neither cartel operative nor the woman she thought she was. She returned to her apothecary, but the chrome was scuffed, the light softer. Alara was there, worried but alive. Veyra was transformed, a self-made creature. She still dealt in quantum remedies, but now her prices were questions, acts of kindness, small defiances against cold equations. She had renegotiated her place, a wild variable in the cartel's grand design, a ghost in her own machine, finally at home in the beautiful, messy uncertainty of it all.